Hello Exiles, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile video. In today's video I'm going to go over my cast on crit character. I've changed it from Reap, it is a Trickster. I'm now doing Wave of Conviction. And I have a 100% crit chance with my Cyclone and about 97% crit chance with Wave of Conviction, which is my skill of choice for cast on crit. I had a lot of wrong notions about how Wave of Conviction worked because previously I had tried to use a Wave of Conviction build with Spell Echo, but basically how it works is that when you have there's a line that says only one Wave of Conviction can be active at a time. Instead of making it so you have waves of conviction coming out during the duration of the first one, the first one is simply canceled where it is, and then another one immediately follows. So you actually can use it for cast on crit, and it's quite strong. So I'm now doing full elemental conversion, which benefits greatly with Harness the Void. I'm doing no physical damage. As you can see, my baseline here before any buffs or anything are up it's all cold, fire, lightning, and some chaos damage. And then I get a considerable amount of additional chaos damage on average from Harness the Void. I think it amounts to about a 30% more damage node in Path of Building when I remove or add it, maybe a little bit more than that. So it's a very considerable amount of extra damage I get from that. And yeah, so one of the big changes I had to do is I had to go to a lower attacks per second weapon since I was having a bunch of wasted procs, and I actually got out of coordination to lower my attack speed further. However, I'm going to be able to change this soon. So here's one of my new rings. I actually got this, I made it with, well, I tried to make it with the catalysts, but unfortunately, if you read the patch notes, catalysts no longer increase the odds of rolling the type of modifier anymore like they did previously, and this is just a change from 3.15 that I somehow missed. So that's why I have caster modifiers on there. It's not really doing anything, and I'm going to remove it and replace it with something else later. But yeah, this is an Assassin's Mark on hit ring with life, energy, shield, regen, and mono regen, and then skills have minus mana cost. I only have the first tier of the skills have minus mana cost, the Elrion mod, because I haven't been able to find any more, and I've pretty much been farming most of my Junes. I still have 3 red ones, but I have a lot of June missions to farm still. I'm going to just do a map really early on in this video though, just to kind of show how it works. The maps that this build is going to be good at are going to be like your waterways, like Blood Aqueduct style layouts, like waterways and channel. It's going to be like Phantasmagoria, Toxic Sewers, any kind of like cells layouts. And as you can see, it takes a second to like ramp up. Oh man. Oh yeah, this is a haste map, so I need to be a little bit more careful. It's also an increased AoE map as well. But yeah, once I got my charges up, I have endurance charges now as well. So once I have all of that kind of stuff going up, it's going to be a little bit easier because I'll kill faster. The first pack and hard maps can be pretty hard because you don't have your charges up. If you want, because Trickster automatically generates charges while doing things before a boss or right at the beginning of a map before you go into the first pack, you can just sit there and channel Cyclone for a second, but I'm too impatient for that. Oh, we got a rogue metamorph up here, so we'll get to see it's going to be hasted with increased AoE. That should be interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully it's not too hard. Oh, it is very hard. So I'm going to go ahead and get off that for a second. Oh, and there you go. Alright, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful because this thing can really truly chunk us. Make sure to get out of there when I'm out of Ghost Shrouds. The build is much weaker when it does not have Ghost Shrouds up, both in terms of the proc rate because you lose attack speed. There you go. Alright, got a brain out of it. But yeah, this is just a tier 12 map because I'm only level 89 and I still have a lot of optimization to do. But yeah, I'm going to get significantly more damage. I think right now I'm at about like 80k DPS, but I'm probably going to be about 1.3 million as soon as I get another Elrion unveil from rings, because I'll be able to then switch to a cooldown reduction belt and a ring that isn't a praxis, because I'm still having to use a praxis. So in order to get rid of the belt I have, I need to get another ring, and I'll kind of explain a little bit more about that later. But yeah, I'm going to go up very considerably in DPS shortly, and probably survivability as well, because I'll be able to have more things. So this is going to be tough because of the map mods, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So I'll just go ahead, and I'm just going to try to get a lot of runic monsters if possible after that first runic monster setup. And we can barely get this one. Alright, I didn't get too many. I didn't want to be too careful and set up too many mods either, so we're not going to have the best setup here for getting a lot of artifacts and whatnot, but that's okay. I didn't want to spend forever thinking about this. And as you can see, it's a little difficult. But once I have more DPS, this will be fine, and then I'll be able to probably do. I also only have a level 19 Wave of Conviction at the moment. I am currently leveling 6 of them in my offhand, and I'm going to try to get 2120 Wave of Conviction, and that should put me at competitive DPS, at least a couple million, like 2.5 with my current gear, and then there's still room to improve my gear as well, as get like jewels and stuff to increase my DPS in the end game. So I have potential to get probably like 3 to 5 million. 5 million might be a little ambitious with this build, but we'll have to see. So it didn't turn out to be quite as good as I had hoped for, but honestly, it's not bad, and it's kind of fun. I like the cast on crit playstyle. You know, there's a lot of other things that could work with this as well, like Ice Spear, and Ice Spear might require less investment. You know, you got your, if you have a cost sprees, you can always go the old reliable cast on crit setup, your cast on crit Ice Nova Frostbolt type thing. It's always a very nice one to do. I don't need to be killing all of these little ads. And but the main reason is I think this character against single target bosses is going to be very durable. I have a lot of EHP at the moment, and I'm going to get probably a very considerable amount more, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I have a lot of block, spell block, a lot of like less damage taken stuff, especially when I have my... Oh, and then you have situations like this when I have my ghost shrouds up, and you just have to kind of like dodge around when you don't have your ghost shrouds. But that's pretty much the mapping experience. Not the fastest mapper in the world, but pretty reliable. It can take everything down here, and like I said, I'm nowhere near done with this character, although I'll probably be putting this character on hold. I have a glacial hammer character, Inquisitor, and a berserker that uses the I'm trying to remember the name of the Doomfletch Prism berserker coming out with split shot. So if you're interested in either of those, don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified, and hit the bell notification so you can see when those come out. I plan on releasing those this week, the first overview and kind of mini leveling guide type things, as I do for my first video of builds generally. But yeah, I'm going to go over all the changes now. So as far as the skill tree goes, if anything, I just kind of... So previously I didn't have Harness the Void yet. Now I benefit more from Divine Wrath and Divine Fury because they give me the full elemental conversion for Wave of Conviction, because Wave of Conviction is both a fire and lightning spell. Fire, lightning, and physical. And as you could see, all of my procs were hitting, but the area of effect is reduced as soon as you get another one. It basically cancels the Wave of Conviction early on. So the way it works is like the wave will go out and it'll continue to travel based on the AoE of the or of your character's AoE to a certain point and then stop. But if you proc a new one with cast on crit, instead it'll go out a portion until shortly after the next one is triggered. So as you could see, I had very centralized wave of convictions instead of ones that shot way out, like you might see if you just self-cast wave of conviction, which I can kind of show the difference. Here, I'll just put this in my flame dash. So normally my wave of conviction would look like that. It would travel like pretty far off to the screen, like yeah, very far, but instead I was going maybe less than a third. My wave of convictions were going, you know, maybe right until there. So that is kind of the difference there. Got that going. All right. And then, so as far as the skill tree goes, I guess I did add Sanctum of Thought. Oh, and also thanks to one of my kind viewers. I wish I had my comments pulled up right now so I could say the name, but you know who you are. I was informed that Smashing Strikes, the 10% chance to gain an endurance charge on melee critical strike, you do not have to be wielding a staff. Even though this is otherwise a staff node, this allows me to have endurance charges up, including against bosses, which is incredible. It's not like an endurance charge on kill, it's an endurance charge on crit. So Smashing Strikes is a remarkable node for this, and it can be gotten with my Thread of Hope. So my Thread of Hope is sitting here getting me Sanctum of Thought, Divine Wrath, Divine Judgment, Divine Fury, and Smashing Strikes. So a huge defensive utility here and here with the endurance charges, and then the reduced damage from crit strikes and reduced effect of curses on me. And then huge offensive utility from the Divine Wrath, Divine Fury, and Divine Judgment. Like, these are three huge damage nodes for this build. Just like an insane amount of damage, plus full conversion, which gives me more damage with Harness the Void. Just so big, honestly. And I'll talk about that in a second. As far as block and spell block, I'm just sitting here at 60%, 50%. I decided to craft 10% life as maximum energy shield onto my body armor. It was either that or spell dodge or spell block. I considered spell dodge because I need ways to mitigate spell damage that aren't block, because block makes it so that I still take 65% of the damage, which most of the time is fine, but against like the really big hits, I would rather have maybe that chance to block. And I probably have an excessive amount of energy shield anyway, as even with my flasks up, I'm only at about 25,000, which means I can only regenerate 1,250 energy shield with my Ghost Shrouds. Yeah, you only gain 5% of your evasion as energy shield. So even maxed out, I can only gain about half of my energy shield back anyway. But having this huge energy shield thing can help with one-shots against bosses too. So that's kind of the trade-off. Let's see. Oh, I'm now, because I'm doing cast on crit with mana, I'm actually into Dreamer. So between Dreamer and Inspiration and then the Tireless nodes, let's see, I currently have 34% reduced mana costs here, and then another 10% between these two, so that's 44%, and then I believe this is 15, so that is a grand total of 59% mana reduced mana cost. And then on top of that, I have the minus mana cost. So normally this would cost 13 mana per cast. It goes down to 5, even though this is minus 8, because the way the percentage and the flat work is the flat comes out after the percentage has already been applied. Or sorry, it comes out beforehand, so that you get a bigger bigger benefit from the percentage. So that's why instead of having a reduction of 8 as you would expect. Oh wait, no, it is a reduction of 8. Never mind, I've got that backwards. Sorry about that. So yeah, the percentage comes out first and then the flat. So you get like a huge benefit from that. Once I get minus 7, I believe is the maximum roll on both, then I can get rid of this, and I'll actually have an even bigger reduction overall, because I'll have minus 14, and currently I have minus 12. So that'll be a big difference, and I'll be able to run cooldown reduction on my belt. I have a couple of cooldown reduction belts. You need at least 14, and once I have that going, so I have this one right here, it's 15%. It's not very good, but it will do the job, and it's got a couple of neat flask things, I guess, but it's what I have. And once I have that, I can go up to this 1.4 attacks per second dagger that I got, spell damage and percent as percent non-chaos damage is extra chaos damage. That 3% I believe can be 4% with a maximum craft, and that will actually go up considerably because of the way that the non-chaos damage as chaos damage works with elemental conversion. It'll actually take the physical damage first, give me 3% of that, then it'll take all of my different elemental types and give me 3% of those. So I'm actually considering, like, I have way more than double my physical damage as elemental damage as well. It basically doubles the benefit of this, or a little over doubles maybe, right around that. Other notable things, I got a 2-socket bubonic trail. I'm using this to get 30% damage by having hypnotic, searching, and murderous eye jewels. And the benefits I'm getting from these are that I also have global crit multi on both of these. I wish I had life and global crit multi on both of them, or like chance to gain onslaught, although that would screw up my proc rate, so maybe not that. Maybe like chance to gain phasing or something. But yeah, other beneficial things would be really nice. I guess the hypnotic can also benefit my spells, but the searching eye is basically, I guess it's giving me some flat accuracy as well, but basically life and crit multi are the only, and accuracy are like the only things I can really benefit from the searching eye. But yeah, this gives me 30% damage on boots, as well as 24% crit multi. So this is actually pretty huge. Plus I'm getting some random lightning damage to spells and some flat physical damage while holding a shield as well, which does benefit me. I was thinking about Exalt slamming this. It does not. It has an open prefix. I was thinking about Exalt slamming this, but I spent a few of my Exalts. I had like 4 or 5 Exalts earlier, and I spent them on some other stuff. But I was considering trying to slam life. It is level 83, so I think it could hit tier 1 life. I haven't checked. Maybe it needs to be 85. I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that's the... and then I still have these same gloves. They're excellent because they give global physical damage and global crit strike chance. I actually upgraded my thing into a talisman. I got the Betrayal mod that allows me to upgrade one of my amulets into a talisman. Decide to use it. I should have waited until I got more defense catalysts so I could plus 20% this, because now I'm missing like 3% max energy shield, and like I don't know how much flat that would have added, like 6 or 7 more flat as well. So I probably could have eked out maybe like, you know, whatever, 40, 50, 60 extra energy shield onto this, which would have been cool, I guess. But it's still very good. I got increased area of effect as my talisman instead of just some attributes that I didn't need. So that's a pretty big deal. I have this helmet. It's got almost 300 energy shield. I probably want to upgrade that at some point. It's got tier 3 hybrid life flat. It's got tier 1 flat and then tier 2 percentage. So it's still pretty good, don't get me wrong. But I could probably do a little bit better. And it's only got 24% quality. I put like a perfect fossil on it. But it gives me some chaos resist. And that's not terrible. So I'm at minus 22% chaos resist. Still have the same body armor, but with different craft, and still have the same... Oh, I actually didn't have this crystal belt, but I did show it. So, yeah, currently sitting pretty good. I have pretty close... I think I'm 1 under max. I think I go to 74 fire resistance on elemental weakness maps. even with the minus curse effect I get from Sanctum of Thought currently, so I preferably could get one more fire resistance somewhere. Maybe I could try to recraft this to get 20%, or if there's an easier one, which I don't think there is. But yeah, and my shield's still the same as well. It's got spell block, a lot of resistances like tier 1 fire, tier 2 lightning, a crafted life, and like a good flat evasion ES roll as well. So this is a very nice shield. Unfortunately, tier 8 spell damage, but what you gonna do? Can't get perfect items very easily in solo self-found. But yeah, that's the character. I hope you enjoyed. I know this was a longer one, but I wanted to explain kind of the intricacies. I do plan on upgrading this, but first I'm probably going to play my Glacial Hammer character a little bit and my Split Arrow Berserker a little bit as well. So maybe next week I'll have an update on this video. For now, I'm going to work on a couple of other characters this week. So if you want to see either of those or the update next week for this character, go ahead and subscribe. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!